All right, guys, so we have a juicy article here, and this article is about an interview with Automaton and the Duet Night Abyss producer, Deca Bear. And this interview is pretty much about why, right? Why did the Duet Night Abyss producer decide to remove Gacha from Duet Night Abyss? So this is going to be a very interesting topic here, and I want to see their explanation. And the title for this article is Getting rid of Gacha is beneficial for developers too. Do Not Abyss producer says keeping players satisfied is key for stable monetization. So it seems like the Do Not Abyss producer is really locked in when it comes to the game having no gacha. Like it seems like they're completely against it. So let's see their reasoning in this article. Chinese developers have recently been making headlines with free-to-play anime-inspired games like Do Not Abyss and Ananta. By the way, guys, Ananta and Do Not Abyss, they've been popping off these past few weeks, man. Like Ananta, they've been dropping bombshells, and Do Not Abyss, they've just been going crazy when it comes to drip marketing. These games are doing an amazing job when it comes to marketing. You guys know how I am when it comes to marketing. Like if the game has poor marketing, I don't want to play it. And the reason why is because devs are clearly they clearly don't care. They're not putting in any effort when it comes to creating exposure for the game. So it seems like the game is just not going to be good long term. But the fact that Do Not Abyss, Manta, they're going really hard when it comes to marketing is a good sign. Designed to ditch the gacha monetization. During Tokyo Game Show 2025, Automaton got together with Do Not Abyss producer Deca Bear to ask him about this bold move development studio hero game made only a few months before the game's official release. While many gamers sounded quite excited about the change, some were worried about how the new monetization model would impact the developers. Now, you guys already know how I feel about this. We're customers, all right? We're customers. I don't give a damn, all right? I don't care if the game, how can I say this? Because if the game is not making a lot of money, the game won't survive. That's just a fact. But that is not my priority, right? That shouldn't be our priority. Yes, that's something to talk about, but this shouldn't be our main focus. What our main focus should be is the quality of the game, how good the game is. That's what we should be focusing on. The fact that people are focusing on, oh, Do Not Abyss doesn't have gacha. Oh, what's gonna happen? You guys are focusing on the wrong thing. We need to talk about how good the game is gonna be. Right? That's what we need to talk about. That's what we should be worried about. Is the game going to be good? Because if there is no gacha and the game is trash, I ain't gonna lie, guys, the game is fucking cooked. So quality is way more important than how much money the game is making. Because if the game is actually very good and they're giving out skins, the game can actually do pretty well. You look at Marvel Rivals, they're doing an amazing job. But let's continue. Where were we at? But Deca Bear says that while those concerns are valid, the team is making efforts to create a monetization model that benefits both the players and the developers. Absolutely based. Of course, we have the same concerns. So this is from Deca Bear. Of course, we have the same concerns, but that is why we're working hard on bringing both our content and our services to a satisfactory level. Exactly. This is exactly what I'm saying. If the game is good, that's a W, because at the end of the day, it's a video game, right? If the game is good, I don't give a fuck if there is no gacha. You guys need to get off of this gacha slave mindset that if a game doesn't have gacha, it won't survive. That is not true. You clearly don't play any other games but gacha games, because if you actually play games that don't have gacha, you will realize that gacha is not a requirement. It's really not. So I'm actually happy the fact that Do Not Abyss, they're testing to see how this is going to be, how this is going to work. And if they succeed with this, this can be, very good for future upcoming games, because if future upcoming games see that Do Not Abyss succeeded when it comes to no gacha, right? They succeeded with their own monetization model. They're going to be like, oh, they just proved to us that it's actually possible for a video game to survive without gacha. So let's innovate and let's try to do the same thing as well. You know what I'm saying? So let's continue. Deca Bear explained that the developers will continue adding more content to Do It Not Abyss, so that the game keeps feeling fresh and engaging for players. But while valuing quantity and variety, they will be focusing on keeping their services at high quality. Actions speak louder than words. All right, this is great. Wait, what Deca Bear is saying right now, really, really good. But I want to see this for myself. All right, I want to see this for myself. I want to see how good the game is once I play it. To explain why we don't need a gacha system, by providing players with paid content like skins and character outfits, we've already established a solid monetization model. Decabear emphasized, rather than forcing people into forking out money for character and weapon banners, Hero Games' goal is to expand the player base by simply making a game that's easily accessible and worth playing. By making it so the players don't have to spend too much time or money on the game, there'll be more newcomers willing to try it out. If possible, we'd like to provide more quality content to our players for a cheap price. Now, this over here where it says for a cheap price, I hope they don't mean that when it comes to feature content, they're gonna like not feature content, but like if they plan on implementing like something insane in the game and it's gonna cost money, because they didn't say it's gonna be free. They said cheap price. So you can interpret this however you want, right? The way I interpret this is there's gonna be a price. Who knows? I have no idea, but hopefully that's not the case. As Decabear suggests, successful monetization is directly linked with player satisfaction, and maintaining this loop could benefit both players and developers in the long run. Furthermore, he expressed that listening to the players' feedback, the studio will be looking to further improve the monetization model once the game is actually out. So that is pretty much all there is when it comes to the producer for Duet Not Abyss. Excuse me. And how he feels about the game not having gacha. Everything he said here was amazing, right? And I hope that everything the producer said comes to life. Like, I hope that this is actually going to be, like, I hope they actually execute this plan and they actually succeed. Because if they succeed, once again, this can change so many games coming in the future. Because we have a lot of upcoming gacha games, right? So many gacha games coming soon. And if Duet Not Abyss succeeds, these games, they'll probably change, right? They'll probably change because their initial plan is, hey man, we're just gonna put in gacha. That's their initial plan. They do this all the time. Whenever they make a gacha game, let's go ahead and slap that gacha label on the game and let's call it a day. That's always their plan. But if Duet Not Abyss and Ananta, if they can like break out of this gacha cycle where a game doesn't need gacha to survive, this will pretty much create a new era when it comes to free games, right? This is going to be a new era where gacha is not going to be the norm. Whenever we see a free mobile game, it's going to be, oh, the game is just entirely free, you're just going to grind. The skins are just, you have to pay for the skins, but that's pretty much it. But you guys already know, when it comes to skins, I see some concerns where people are like, oh, if they're going to implement skins and you have to buy them, hopefully they don't put additional stats in those skins. I don't think that's going to happen. All right, that's something Netmarble would do. All right, Netmarble, they're a master when it comes to putting stats in skins. I don't think they're going to do something like that because that's fucking stupid. If they put additional stats and skins, that's just EOS, bro. Like, I don't care how good the game is. You don't put additional stats and skins. That's pathetic. So they're not going to do something like that. That's just common sense. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. That was a pretty interesting article. This gives me flashbacks to the Genshin Impact article where like you had like an interview and it was about in-game content. I think this was like 2 or 3 years ago, and it was a disaster. A lot of people were heartbroken. It was sad, the fact that the devs said, oh yeah, man, we don't want to give you guys any more anxiety, so we don't want to give you guys any more content. Like, it was pathetic, bro. But yeah, I am looking forward to this game. We're like a couple days away till Duet Not Abyss global release. I'm excited. We do have Blue Protocol as well coming soon. I might check that game out. If it's trash, I'm gonna drop it immediately. But yeah, bro, I can't wait to play this game. I cannot wait to play it. But hope you guys have a good one. I'll be catching you guys on the next one. Adios.